What's up, everyone? ODC, it's me here, and be sure to check out BigBoyCollectibles.com for all your action figure needs, whether it's DC Collectibles, Star Wars The Black Series, Marvel Legends, or G.I. Joe. BigBoyCollectibles.com will have it. Yo, Joe!
What's up, everyone? ODC, it's me here, and today's review, we're going to take a look at the Star Wars Black Series Toys R Us exclusive Hover Tank Pilot. Now, this is the Imperial Hover Tank Pilot, as I should have said. I love this helmet. It looks absolutely just fantastic. I cannot wait to pick up the Figuarts version of him, where I actually can get a pointing hand. I believe Figuarts is selling the Commander, the Hover Tank Pilot Commander, and man, how cool would it be to get a hover tank as a vehicle? It would be really cool. I mean, if we got a hover tank and maybe if possible, an X-Wing or a U-Wing this year. Maybe both. Maybe we can get a X-Wing and a hover tank. That would be absolutely fantastic. I think it looks really cool. I really dig this look. And like I said, I love the light armor. He just kind of has brown pants here. And they are textured, which is really cool. A lot of love and care went into the tooling of this figure. Looks really, really good. I love this helmet. I love the weathering effect. How it's got some scruff dirt here on top of the helmet, and it pretty much is fluent throughout the rest of the armor, which is really good, especially on the front plate, chest plate here. It's a little bit darker in hand, I would say, as when you do get one of these in hand. But I also love the weathering effect on the boots. And I'm pretty sure that these boots are just being reused. I'm pretty sure the whole lower half is being reused for the Shore Trooper. So you'll pretty much be used to these boots by the time the Shore Trooper officer comes out in Wave 2 of Rogue One. And I really like the sculpting of these new combat boots too. They look really cool. A little bit of a variation from the regular Stormtroopers, but I think it's done very well. We needed a little bit of a reimagining and some new troopers, to be honest with you. Nothing wrong with the original trilogy, Scout Troopers and Stormtroopers, but some variations would have been nice, and hopefully in this movie, I mean, I'm still crossing my fingers, but I doubt we'll probably see them, but I'm hoping. We got Death Troopers. I still would like at least one glimpse of a Shadow Trooper in this. I think that Shadow Troopers would be used in this movie, especially if it's a frontal assault. But as far as his articulation does go, his head can swivel full 360 rotation if you wanted to. No problems or issues there. His head can look up nicely. Nice natural pose there. Looking down. The head can also pivot forward and look further down. So if you want the helmet to look flush, and also push the head back. Next, so we do have some jive turkeys up in here. It's almost Thanksgiving. Sorry, okay. The head does pivot side to side, which is really nice. So really good range of motion in the head. Probably some of the best I've seen lately. The arms, unfortunately, fortunately, I should say, fortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately do go up as much as you need them to. You just kind of have to dip in that shoulder pad into the socket, which works perfectly. It was getting stuck for a second like so, but you just kind of have to maneuver it a little bit. No big deal there. Full 360 rotation in the arm, single bend at the elbow, nice 90-degree angle. And then we have a swivel at the elbow, a swivel at the wrist. We have a hinge at the wrist as well, going in and out. And then we have a hinge on this side, going up and down. Perfect for using blaster, using a lightsaber. Obviously, this guy's not going to be using a lightsaber, but I just like the fact that we actually got that with the Black Series. He does have the diaphragm joint, which I am pretty much at this point used to and have no issue with them giving it to us instead of an ab crunch. Even though technically he does have a really good range of motion with his ab crunch going forward. Beautifully done. That is fantastic. And going back as well and pivoting side to side and then swiveling as well. He has a good range of motion. No waist swivel because he has a diaphragm joint. He can't do the splits all that well, but he is a hover tank pilot. I don't think it's really necessary, so I don't have a big issue with him only being able to go out this far. I'm sure the figure arts will be have a better range of motion when it comes out, but legs go forward. They do go back just a hair due to the, it's a little bit hindered due to the rear end of the hover tank pilot. He does have an upper thigh swivel, a double jointed knee, good range of motion there, an ankle hinge, goes a little bit forward, and I mean maybe a hair, but it does go back. Nice ankle pivot, and then 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. And I like actually that they used this like olive drab for the bottom of his feet here. I think it looks pretty good. And actually, you know what? I almost want to go back and say that this is probably an olive drab for his pants. Now that I'm getting a closer look, and I just looked at the bottom of his feet, which can give a good comparison to that. They almost look brown, and olive drab actually gives off that I guess manipulation of the eye of it being brown for a second, but it actually is more of an olive color, so that's good, or a darker green, you know. You get my drift. But I think it looks really good with the white. It plays well with the white and the black with the armor. Let me just back up a little bit here so you can see it in full. There we go. I just think it looks really good with that. It brings out the black, this being the lighter color. I think it looks really good. You get a nice differentiation between the colors. I really like the sculpt of his armor, and we're going to go through some differences between the armors in a second, but for right now I just want to kind of admire the armor and how it looks. Little panels back here sculpted beautifully in there. This is a beautifully crafted figure. Like I said, this design is probably one of my favorites. I thought the Shore Trooper was going to be my favorite, but this guy might actually take the cake. He might actually be up there with my favorite trooper, which is the Scout Trooper. That's right. Oh, let me also point out, he does come with an E11 blaster, which is actually a little bit of a different variation from the regular E11 blaster that we're used to with the Stormtroopers, but we'll get to that comparison in a second, like I said. The clip is extended a little bit, and I think this light is like a little light right here. But he does come with the blaster. Unfortunately, there is nowhere for him to put the blaster, so he just has to hold it. I mean, if we do ever get a hover tank, he'll just be in the tank the whole time, so, or kind of peeking out of the tank, so that's no big deal there either if he doesn't have a spot for him to put his blaster. Let me bring in some more figures and we'll do a bunch of comparisons really quick. Okay, and we're back with the regular Stormtrooper here and our hover tank pilot, and as you can see, the big difference between the colors here, and obviously you can see that the Stormtrooper is a much cleaner, brighter white than this guy. This guy's got a little bit more weathering. It makes sense because he's going to be traveling long distances in a tank, and he's probably going to have his head peeking out here and there. So, and it also makes sense if he's going to be in a ground assault. You know, the ground, dust gets kicked up, dirt gets kicked up, if it's raining outside, all different weather conditions. So I think it makes perfect sense for him to be a little bit more weathered. A couple of people I saw reviews of were complaining that he's got too much of a wash on him, but I think it works perfectly. So there's your comparison with them. And they're around the same height. So hover tank pilot might be a hair shorter. Not by much, though. But there's that. So there you have your comparison with the Stormtrooper. Okay, and next we have the Target exclusive 3-pack Death Trooper here. Pretty much the exact same as the other Death Troopers, just has a harness on. But as you can see, the Death Troopers are just dwarf the hover tank pilot here. But I think they look really good together, and I can't wait to do some displays with these two together. So there you have that comparison. Okay, and now we have our Shadow Troopers. And this is the knockoff eBay bootleg Shadow Trooper with the silver eyes, and this is the original release with the pauldron. Different paint decos. I've done a video on that. If you want to check that out, you can. But here you can see this is actually based on the Sand Trooper body. This is on a Stormtrooper Luke Skywalker body, so he's a little bit shorter. So if that's why you're wondering, back to back here, the hover tank pilot's a little bit taller, and then you have the Sand Trooper body mold, excuse me, and they're around the same height. And just to do a little comparison here with your regular Stormtrooper a little bit taller, by a little bit. So there you have that comparison. And finally, my favorite trooper of all time, the Scout Trooper. Still always my favorite, will always be my favorite. Was actually the first Imperial figure I ever got, or ever owned as a child. So he was always my favorite. And he is actually a little bit taller than the hover tank pilot. So, but I think they actually look really good together. I would be shocked if we don't see at least one Scout Trooper in this movie in Rogue One coming up. So there you have your comparisons. Here are the E11 blasters, and as you can see right off the bat, they are a lot different. Like I said, the extended clip on the hover tank pilot, the different paint deco, which is a little bit of a lighter, where this is just a straight black plastic. This is like a lighter or a dark charcoal gray plastic. This also does have looks like a searchlight on here, so that's pretty interesting. And I'm pretty sure that the folding stock is the exact same. They just added a couple little things on here to make it a little bit different. But there you have your comparisons between the original E11 and this E11. But overall, yeah, definitely recommend picking him up. He is probably my second favorite design as far as troopers go now. And that's saying a lot for me, because there's a ton of troopers that I just absolutely love by design. But you can also pick up the Rogue One Wave 1 at bigboycollectibles.com. If you want to check that out, you can. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.